out for that. If we win one, we win two. Why would he need to go anywhere other than pure greed? And he said it doesn't do it for the money, which is refreshing to hear a footballer say that if they actually mean it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, and there were some interesting comments this week that came out, and I'm quickly going to throw out another stat because the Premier League tweeted this one out yesterday, that Kane is only the second player in PL history to score 2+ goals in 3 straight away appearances. The other one was Bergkamp in 1997.
Yep, I saw that one.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's amazing, and I don't think it's not part of his character. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I've been thinking about this for a while and just haven't had an opportunity to bring it up. And then Flav over at the Fighting Cock, our friends over there, wonderful podcast, brought it up midweek. And I thought, what a perfect opportunity to discuss it again on our show for listeners that may not listen to both platforms. So this is part of the thinking. You look at Harry Kane and you look at the stature that he has in not just in and around the Premier League, but for England as well. He can go out and have anybody he wants to as a wife, as a girlfriend, or whatever, and he chose to marry his childhood sweetheart. These two were in soccer camps together as 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and they had a relationship as friends, and they grew up, and now they're in their early to mid 20s. He proposes to her on the beach during the summer. They have a child together now. They're married. It's wonderful. It's a great story. And I think that it goes to show that his character is as a determined loyalist. He's not going to be swayed by some wag in the corner that's going to be a trophy wife until there's no need to be your trophy wife anymore. He's going to go with what's loyal to him. And the club's been loyal to him in such a way, maybe not financially, because as you mentioned, it's not super important to him. Believe me, he's not struggling and will never struggle for the rest of his life financially. He should never be put into that position. So I don't think that the Real Madrids and Barcelonas and clubs of that ilk are gonna sway him in one way or another, because it's not that Tottenham aren't big enough. I think this guy has a mission to make Tottenham on his shoulders one of the biggest clubs in the world. That he sees that with the help of Lewis and Levy and Pochettino, that can be achieved with the ambition that they are showing, with the money that they are spending with this new stadium, with the entire Northumberland development project, with the relationship with the NFL, that Tottenham has the opportunity. And it's not like they're a small club. Let's face it, they're one of the top 10 or 12, financial clubs in the world. They really are. But to go to that next level, to be a little bit beyond Juventus and get up there with the PSGs and those clubs financially, the opportunity is there. It's going to happen if the players make it happen. You have to be successful on the pitch. Pochettino will give them every opportunity to do that. And in time, they will open up the transfer kitty. I think it was remarkable yesterday when I heard the stats on NBC about the net spend over the last 3 years and how they are applauding Tottenham for the way that they are doing things. West Ham's chairman, after we beat them 3-2 at their place, said that she was like, I want them, or their owner rather, that woman, I can't remember her name.
Karen Brady.
Yeah, Karen Brady said, I want Tottenham to go and win the league. I think the way that they are doing this is absolutely the way that it should be done, and I applaud them for their efforts because it's showing on the pitch. It's finally being recognized. Yeah. It's just the way that I feel about him.
Well, and full credit to Huddersfield. Going back to the game a little bit, and there's a point to this. Second half for us, I thought we took our foot off the gas. I was wondering what team was going to come out. Is it the team that put Hull to the sword and really going to let fly and rack up the goals, or are we going to just take our foot off the gas and pass the ball around? I think we did a little of that. Some of it was sloppy. I think there was clearly a game plan there. And you and I talked about it before we went on air that, let's not extend ourselves to the point of putting our players at risk. It's international break. We know that there's always that risk factor of going away and playing for your country. But, let's not overextend ourselves. Let's not do anything stupid. And you said Poch was getting a little angry and upset towards the end of the game because we weren't probably as disciplined as we needed to be. But we got the result at the end of the day, and that's the most important thing. But when Harry went off, the whole stadium applauded. And I
Yes.
saw a Huddersfield fan that had been retweeted by a Spurs fan who pretty much stated some of our lads are slagging us off for applauding Harry Kane. He's English. He's one of us. We should applaud him. He's the future of our national team. Words to that effect. And I think you've got to do that because England has been so crap for the last 20 years in threatening to achieve and completely delivering on that promise. We had the golden generation of Gerrard and Lampard and golden balls and the Nevilles and Rooney and Owen. What did they achieve? A quarterfinal here and there, and inevitably losing on penalties. So it's still a crap England team, but we've got a centre forward who can put the goals away, and we've got an attacking midfielder that has the creativity of very un-English players, and we got very good defensive options, whether it be Dyer, Trippier. And let's talk about Harry Winks. What a great game he had yesterday.
I was just about to mention him.
Great game in Apoel during the week. Mm-hmm. And it warranted him getting his first start of the season yesterday. I thought, wow. And what I really like about Winks, and you can let me know your opinion, when he's on the ball and he pirouettes, you just don't know which way he's going to go. You expect him to go forward, but he sees the better option is just to go slightly backwards or slightly lateral, and it completely surprises the opposition because they're expecting what we're expecting. He doesn't do it and maintains that possession, keeps the ball, and then distributes in a much more convenient place for him that benefits the team. And I just thought he had an outstanding game yesterday, and his potential, his promise is great, and it's not going to be long before he gets an England call-up.
Yeah, when you look at him, a lot of people shout, why not give Winks a chance? Why not give Winks a chance? And he's finally getting some chances. But he's also sat behind some of these players now for 2-3 seasons. And as they've brought new players in like Wanyama, it's almost as if he's taking the opportunity to not only learn from Pochettino, and maybe someone's gotten in his ear about this, but as a manager for what I do, and I know that you are as well in your professional job, I implore my new employees to train with certain other aspects or certain other divisions of what we do as a company and with different people, and to see how they work and then take the best pieces and parts of all of what you've learned and make it your own. So when I look at the way Winks plays, it's almost like I'm seeing a little bit of Dyer, a little bit of Dembele, and a little bit of Wanyama in the way that this kid plays, and he's taken the best that his ability allows him of those three players, the way that he's learned from them and made it his own. And you see that he can turn on the ball like Dembele. You see that he can knock someone off the ball the way Wanyama does. And you see that he has the control moving up the pitch and can distribute a pass or even take a shot the way Dyer does. So it seems like he's really rounded himself into a player with a lot of upside and a lot of potential. And we're starting to see some of the benefits from that as Tottenham supporters.
Yeah, it's funny. You almost created what should be the next chant. Is all we are saying is give Winks a chance.
Yes.
And talking of chants, you saw the one
at the end of the match
that came out after the game, right? Wake me up before you go. Who needs Bell? We've got Sissoko. I didn't
hear that one. I heard he scores when he wants.
Yeah, no, I don't think they sang it at the match. I think they some way, it might have been the Spurs web on Twitter, put it out there. I don't think we'll be singing that one, but
what was it? Did you just
who
hear the
needs Bale?
one that came out?
Oh yeah. That's just not right. Well, and I know what Lukaku got upset by a chant that the United fans had referring to his anatomy. So. This one has body parts reference. Probably not the best thing for a Sunday.
Please forgive us.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's move forward just a little bit. And one thing I do want to say about the Huddersfield, and we kind of mentioned it before we went on air. Who knows? I might throw some of that in though. But I was really impressed with their fans in their stadium. They sang and chanted the whole match, and I thought it was really cool watching that they are enjoying the moment. They realize they may not be back after this season. I kind of hope they are. I think their stadium is really cool looking, very much like
Brighton.
Yeah, just like Brighton.
Yeah, those two teams, and I know Brighton went to the empty crates and obviously weren't anticipating coming out with anything.
Yeah.
We'd have obviously loved it, but yeah, I would love for them to both stay up. I think great new stadiums with a fan base that's absolutely behind their team in the community. And you're right, they particularly what from the camera's end, I don't know what geographic end that was, but to our left, that was obviously the supporters section, the hardcore section, and they were having an absolute blast. And so they should. They've not got to see the bigger clubs in English football come to their stadium. And on the flip side, I think our fans were as equally chuffed to go to a new stadium like Huddersfield and say, hey, I haven't been here before and this is great. And I saw that a lot. So fair play. I didn't like when we were singing the whole no, your shit song. I mean, save that for West Ham and Arsenal and Chelsea. We have no axe to grind with clubs like Huddersfield or Brighton. And to sing that when you're beating them 4-0, I don't like that part of the game.
Probably. One of the ones I was hearing those sung yesterday was, he's just a one-season wonder. And I didn't know if that was our fans that were singing it in jest or if it was their fans singing it.
It was us. We're just, making the point of how everyone has said that. And that's okay if it's self-effacing, if you're making a reference to yourself with a little bit of jest in there, which obviously, is pure sarcasm. But when you're saying another team is shit when you're bashing them 4-0 at home and they're not one of our rivals.
Yeah.
I don't see the point. I would never entertain that kind of that banter. I'd save it for the teams I
West
hate.
Hams of the world.
I don't hate Huddersfield. I don't hate most of the teams out there, but I do hate Chelsea and I do hate Arsenal. It's funny. I don't know if you saw on our members page, and normally we'll post stuff, we get a lot of likes, we get a few comments, but Drew Mayer put on there, I think we all know who we despise the most, but who's your second most hated team? And the responses are incredible. And typically it's Arsenal first, Chelsea second. A lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm really starting to hate Chelsea more than I hate Arsenal. That'll never happen for me. But I think in the modern era, our axe to grind with Chelsea is probably... from a rival perspective for honours is probably more so than Arsenal. We've not had to go head-to-head with Arsenal recently for honours other than beating them in the semi-final 10 years ago almost.
Yeah, it makes for a valid point. And it when you even look at the Manchester United and Manchester City rivalry, it's more about the managers than it is the players, because I think if you ask United or even Liverpool supporters, even Everton is right across the street, United is still their main rival, and I think United fans feel the same way. But it has now a lot to do with the things that surround football more than it does to actually do with the football on the pitch. So it's about position, and it's about what you're competing with that team against. And, of course, the match, 2 seasons ago at the Bridge when we were kicking lumps out of them. And in the end, that was the match that took us out of the title race.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that rivalry is built on, and it doesn't fade very quickly. Football players seem to be like elephants. They don't forget. No,
you can put the 5-3 New Year's Day game from a couple of seasons ago in there, the 2-0 last season at our place. You could even tag the first game of the first meeting this season.
The Cup semi last year too.
Right. So we're playing them with games that seem to have a much higher profile than just a North London derby. I mean, North London derby, second to last home game of the season. That was just a case of putting them in their place. St. Torringham's Day had already passed. This was just a case of saying, this is a power shift, boys. So jog on back to South London. We're focusing on someone who means a bit more right now. Now, that's the general consensus for me, probably for Sam, for Vass, probably you. We hate Arsenal to the core, and that's not going to change. Chelsea will never overtake them from that perspective. So we've talked about Harry Kane. We need to gush a bit more. As we said, 13 goals for the month, 0 in August.
Yep.
The minute the calendar changed when he was on international duty, he got a brace and he kicked on from there.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun. So if we look at the Centurion Club, because he did, I think, in the Everton game, his first game back for Spurs after the last break, he got his 2 goals, including his 100th. And he is now sitting at 110 in the Centurion Club table. he is now level with God. So you
That
could
quickly.
technically